Hi everybody, and welcome to my first live YouTube video. So I'm really excited to do this. The topic today, first of all, my name is Caitlin. I am Spiritual Insights, and I have an Instagram where I do daily readings. It's at spiritual.insights. There's more information in my bio somewhere. So you can check that out. I do channeled readings. I work with spirit and angel guides of just love and light energy. I don't channel any negative messages. Really, my mission is to empower you to live your best life, make your best decisions. And a lot of times, it can be really difficult to make a decision in life when you don't have that compass or you don't really know what you're going towards. And spirit provides an outside perspective. Hello, everybody. Thanks so much for joining. So I'm really happy to see y'all here. What we're going to be talking about today is energy budgeting. So this is a way I've been getting a lot of requests about people wanting to live a more spiritual life and not really understanding or knowing the steps to how to get there. Hey, Root. So I've taken some notes. I did some meditating and I wrote down what came to me. So we'll just get right into it. First of all, what I wanted to say, based on a lot of things that I've been seeing recently, a lot of people are investing in worrying. I do this too. I do this myself. I invest a lot of time into worrying and concern, but it's not really active. Like I'm not doing something about it. I'm spending a lot of time thinking about what could happen. What if this happened? What if I did that? What if this happens to me and I don't know about it? And the issue with that is that it's not really productive. Our energy is a valuable resource. As we're giving it out, we're choosing where it goes. And it doesn't feel like we're doing it because there's not really an exchange happening that we can see, but it's true. You actually are expending energy. And of course, we know, like with the law of attraction, what you put out will come back. So if we're spending a lot of time worrying and then we're wondering why things aren't manifesting, that's sometimes why. So I did want to emphasize that at first. What came to me today was a guided message that a lot of us are living in the same space that we are expecting our abundance to come into. So Spirit was saying, we need to work on changing our space up. And by this, I mean, like, let's say that you're looking to get a new job or you want to work for yourself or you want to attract a partner, but you're still living in your same space, going about your daily operations. They were telling me it's very important at this time, especially with all of the energy we have going on. I know it's draining and it's kind of like sucking the life out of us, but if we use our energy properly, this is actually a great time to be manifesting. So what they were advising is that we do little tweaks to our living space, our home, to ensure that it facilitates what we're trying to manifest. For example, if you're trying to manifest abundance, why don't you make room for the new couch that you were looking to buy? Imagine that it's already there. If you're trying to manifest love, why don't you rearrange your bedroom so that you make room for your lover? Where would they sleep? What's it going to be like? Start to imagine those things, without putting too many restrictions on it. Start to imagine with the concept and mindset that this is going to come in an unexpected way. And this person, if you're trying to manifest a person, that they have their own likes, dislikes, what they want to do. So start thinking about it like that. Like what is it going to be like, when I want to meditate, but because considering your personal boundaries, when I want to meditate, but there's this new person in my life, and start rearranging your space accordingly. If you want to do more writing, a lot of you I know have a lot of creativity around you, a lot of great manifesting energy. If you're wanting to paint more, create a painting corner in your home. Create a space where you feel drawn to do these things. Making that space is going to make all the difference. For example, I wanted to do more yoga in my life. So what I did was I laid out my yoga mat and just left it there. I didn't even do yoga the first time. Sometimes taking those baby steps just helps you get there. And it's not as scary when it's a baby step. If it's just, today I'm going to lay out my yoga mat, you do it, and then you already feel fulfilled because you've created that. You've already manifested It's already there. And then you're done. Because sometimes we all, and I do this so much, have the tendency to start something. And then as soon as we start, we're like, okay, I need to do more. I need to do more. That's not enough. No, that's enough. That's enough for today. Let's take it easy. If you want to get into meditation, do 10 minutes a day. The first day, just think about what you want to meditate on. Done. Next day, do 10 minutes of meditation. Take it little by little, and it's going to be easier, more digestible, and you're going to have more fulfillment doing it because you won't feel this pressure put on you. A lot of times that originates from having pressure put on you at another time in your life by another person. And so we don't really know how to manage those things or how to get that voice out of our head. So it's also about creating some healthy ways to create this abundance. The next thing that I wanted to talk about is a morning routine. So I was actually speaking to Caitlin, who has a program called Summit. She's amazing. And she's an intuitive advisor for businesses. So I said this on my Instagram as well, at spiritual.insights, if anybody's interested. So she helps people to obtain these goals in entrepreneurship. And one of the things that she was talking to me about was a morning routine. And I started to think, as many of you know, I left my 9 to 5 to start my own business, and it's been very scary. And I've noticed a lack of energy in the last couple of days. This is due to the planetary energies, but it's also because I noticed I've gotten out of my routine. I don't have a routine anymore, and I thought that would be really freeing, and it kind of is. But as humans, we kind of crave a structure, because then when things are a surprise or fun, we actually have time for it. And we're not constantly stressing about things we have to do because we know they're going to get done. We know that we'll do it because it's already been planned. So creating a morning routine is going to be really helpful for just getting yourself into that normal way of creating the space for yourself. Really, a lot of what we're going to be talking about today is creating the space for yourself to flourish. It's just like you're taking care of a child. Really, taking care of yourself and your body is like taking care of your child. If you guys have ever read, I love this book, The Highly Sensitive Person. I recommend it to everybody. They talk about how, there's Panda. Hey, Pandy. Whenever the way that you were treated in your first couple of years of childhood is actually the way that your body or your mind will go into default of treating your body. For example, if you were a child that felt that there was a lot of conflict going on in your family and you really you wanted to stay as back away as you can, and you don't want to cause any excess problems, you might have the tendency then as you get older to, whenever your body wants something, needs something, feels hungry, feels uncomfortable, feels sad, to silence yourself and almost tell yourself like, hey, that's not important. We need to keep doing this other thing. We need to work harder. And you'll notice that if you start to go back, think about the way that you treat your body now. What do you do? Are there times when you put your body's needs off? Are there times where you disconnect from your body and don't feel it or don't pay attention? And this can manifest as maybe you go throughout the day and you don't eat because you're just too busy. Well, you're actually ignoring your child self. And whether you know it or not, that's kind of hurting your child self. Think about yourself as a child and think about acting towards your body as you would to a child. That'll be really helpful. So I also thought it would be really cool if everybody, did a project. Let's think about what brings us joy. So in the body, mind, spirit, and emotions, a good way to start getting on track with your spiritual healing is to, and I'm sorry about this lighting, is to think about what are the things that bring you joy and how can you incorporate those more into your life. So for those of you in the chat, I'd love to hear like some things that you do for yourself. What does bring you joy and what do you find gives you that energy back? Because we know the energy is this finite resource. So we're either putting it in or giving it out. It's always going. It's always flowing. Everything we're thinking about, we're giving energy to. For me personally, I love a good 2 or 3 hour bath. I know that sounds excessive. I don't care. It is so, so refreshing for me. It's like a place where I can just release and let everything go. And I don't take my phone into the bath. I don't take anything else. I just let it all go. And my bath has become for me like my sacred space. So I highly recommend it if you haven't already, picking up a billion bath bombs and a bunch of candles and making a little romantic time for yourself, like light some candles, the sunshine. Oh yes, sun is extremely revitalizing, and so is nature. It looks like diamonds. Yes, at the beach. Oh, I love that. The beach is so energizing, and looking at the sun is definitely, you're soaking in energy. Plants get their energy from the sun, and we're very similar. We can get that energy and feel that energy. So a lot of what we're talking about today does involve the need for personal accountability and personal responsibility, which is really hard because we feel all the time like we're trying a lot. And I know all the people that I speak to, everybody that I've done readings for, they're all giving the most and almost not giving themselves the credit. So it's hard when you feel that you're giving so much to look back and say, what could I do better? And it's taking away the fear out of that. So finding a way to have an honest conversation with yourself about what is it that I can improve on, and not being threatened by it, but feeling the love that comes through with it. So when we're asking ourselves those things, we're actually probing because we know that we're better. We know we can be better, and we know that we deserve better. And so we're finding these things as a way to give ourselves the lives that we know that we're worthy of. I often have a really difficult time taking my own criticism because I feel that I'm my hardest critic. And I know everybody can relate, huh? It's like, you don't have to tell me. I've already told myself 1,000 times more and a million times meaner. So we can all learn to accept this criticism from ourselves in a healthy way. Instead of saying anything negative about ourselves, we can work with it to create something that's actually going to bring change, positive change. So when we're budgeting for our energy, I'd like us to think about the different things we want to be investing in. One of them is going to be our mind. So what does it mean to invest in your mind? When you're investing in your mind, you're going to feel empowered and inspired. A lot of ways that some people can invest in their minds. I really love to listen to like Jay Shetty. I think is incredible, absolutely amazing. For those of you that don't know him, he used to be a monk, and he actually left being a monk, and now he just shares knowledge with everyone around. I think he's considered a professional storyteller. He has such a way with finding the lessons in these everyday, just small life moments and stories. And I think he's incredible. It's very inspiring to watch. It really sparks your brain. And for those of you interested in spirituality, this is extremely beneficial. So I highly recommend listening to I was reading TED Talks, to listening to Jay Shetty. He's incredible. This is a way that you can expand your mind. When you feel like you're growing, you don't feel stuck. You feel like you're expanding these horizons. When we feel restricted, it's usually because we're not challenging ourselves. We're not moving on. We're limiting ourselves and trapping ourselves in these little boxes. And that doesn't feel good because we know that we're expansive. We are greater than these human forms. And then we have body. Body is something that's really hard because, of course, we want to work out. Of course, we want to eat the best, most healthy foods. But is there time? That's what's difficult. So incorporating time and energy for your body into your life is going to change the way that you go about your day. And one of the things that I found in when I was working at my job, which was very much an energy drain. I love all the people I spoke with, all the people I worked with, but it was just very draining. No reflection on them, just for me. And I found that waking up, at least having 2 hours or an hour to myself, was really helpful. And in the morning, I would make sure to meditate a couple of minutes, to listen to inspiring videos, and then just a stretch, wake up my body a little bit. And I found that really helpful. Now, we're all not perfect, okay? So of course, there's going to be days where you don't get around to this. The important thing is just to forgive yourself. Be gentle with yourself. Tell yourself, hey, it's okay. I felt that. We were tired. Let's try again in 2 days. It doesn't mean the end of the world if you can't do it on the first time, or if you fail, if you take a break 1 day or 10 days or 3 weeks. life is always going. We are born with this concept of beginnings and endings, but that's really not how spirit is. In spirit, everything is eternal. Everything is constantly developing, constantly growing, and it's always existing. It's always in existence. So getting ourselves out of the mentality of something beginning and ending really actually gets rid of the concept of failure, because you can't fail at something if it's continuous and it's always going. We also want to make sure we're taking care of our spirit. When we're taking care of spirit, we're going to feel connected. We're going to feel empowered. How to do that? Start working with your guides. Get closer. Nose itching. That's always a sign that my spirit guides are with me. So connecting with your guides, talk to them, speak to them out loud. You might feel crazy, but it doesn't matter, because you're going to feel great after you do it. And after you start seeing all those signs coming in and repeating and repeating and repeating, you're going to be like, I'm not crazy. Anybody who's telling me I'm crazy is crazy, because they don't know. So get to know your guides, call on them. Ask your ancestors. They actually want to help you. That's the thing, is a lot of people are like, I don't want to call them in. Like, I don't want to bother them. They love it. They're sitting on the sidelines. I always get an image of them like, put me in, coach, put me in. They want to jump in there, and they really want to be helpful, and they want to give you everything you want, because they see it. They're zoomed out, and they're like, oh my gosh, she's been dreaming of having this home. It's right around the corner. All she has to do is this. And they're like showing you signs, giving you messages. Maybe you're thinking about somebody who's actually a realtor and you don't know it. You haven't talked to them since high school, and they reach out to you and you're like, oh, I don't have time for that. I'm just really tired. And then you see 222 on the clock and you're like, oh, okay. Like, if you're not taking care of yourself, we miss those signs, which is why energy budgeting is so important. And being familiar with your guides, because you can get to know their energies more. You know, I can feel when there's different guides around me based on the feelings I get. So when Archangel Michael's around me, I feel a lot on my shoulders. I feel like he's leaning like this, okay? And he'll often like whisper in my ear a little bit. Yeah. Oh yeah, by spiritual root, all good. I'm making this video for anybody that wants to watch at any time. But I really appreciate all of you coming out here and seeing my first video. I'm so excited to produce more content, but taking care of our spirit's really important, and you'll be able to start to recognize your guides. Maybe a lot of people have different abilities. So some people will smell different smells. Like they might get a very herbal smell when they know that a certain guide is around. Or if it's an ancestor, a lot of times they'll give you some personal messages. I know some people that see like pennies that represent like their parents. Depending on like what they were in life, you'll usually see something that associates with that. Oh, thank you so much, El Nino. That's very sweet of you. And then today is something I did for myself, because I hadn't done, I love playing with makeup. I just haven't been giving myself the time. So today I told myself, do it. Like, you deserve to spend a little bit of time and like get yourself dressed up, even if you're not going anywhere. And so I did, and it actually really boosted my mood, made me feel a lot better. So taking care of yourself, even when nobody's around to see, it just feels good. You feel great. We're discussing energy budgeting. So another thing that we really should do when we're trying to enhance our spirit, the categories that we're looking at are mind, body, spirit, emotions, is work on journaling. If you don't already have a journal, I have 70 journals. I'm a journal addict. If you don't already have a journal, put one by your bed, put one in your kitchen, put one in your purse. When we're processing our emotions or feelings or connection with spirit, something really helpful that I did that helped me when I was trying to develop my connection is I got a pen. I actually have it right here, and it looks like this, okay? My friend actually got it for me, and it has all different colors. And a lot of times I love purple, so I'll write in purple a question I'm having, and then I'll start to meditate. And I found myself doing this naturally. When I would receive an answer, it was coming through like I was saying it to myself, but it was very clear, and it was thoughts that I hadn't thought of, and it was in using different words that I didn't really use. So I started to write those things I would write them in bold letters, and I would write them in orange. So that way, when I'm going back, I can really see my progress, and I can understand more. This is how spirit communicates. These are the things that spirit says. This is what spirit likes me to know. And that's a good way for you to connect directly with spirit. And while you're writing, there's a delay time, okay? It's not like typing. When we're typing, we can think and type just as fast as we're thinking. When we're writing, we actually have to really think carefully about what the emotion is coming through. Because when we're feeling and getting messages, it's not going to come through just in words, okay? It comes through in a feeling. That's why a lot of times when I'm giving readings, I stop for a second and I'm having to interpret, because it's like I'm in a movie experiencing something and I'm having to synthesize that information and get it out in words. So it is a little bit taxing on the energy, which is why we got to make sure we're energy budgeting. But I think this is a really great tool to get more familiar with your guides, create that relationship, create that bond. You're going to have guides that come into your life and then they're there to help you fulfill a task, and then they'll leave for a while and then you'll see them again. It's like seeing an old friend, feeling an old friend there, and you know, kind of based on what they were there for before, what you're about to experience. It's a good way to help you tell your future as well. Because let's say that you've been working with Archangel Uriel on love, and she leaves, you know, and she comes back into your life. You might know, oh, I have a new relationship coming in, or I'm not taking care of myself as well as I was, and Uriel's here to help me with self-love. The last one, which for me is the most difficult one, is emotions. As a Pisces, I'm extremely emotional. Do I like this about myself? Yes and no. Yes, because being extremely sensitive does help me to channel, which is something that I'm so thankful for. But it does make me very sensitive. And a lot of times I'll find that when I'm stretching at the end of the day or I'm doing yoga, I'll have a tightness in me. And when we have these tightnesses, they're usually connected to an emotion we had that we didn't acknowledge. And sometimes that tightness will be from the silliest things. I've noticed that, like, one day someone texted me something and I forgot about it. I was busy doing something like that, and I didn't text them back until way later, and I was concerned that they would think that I was, you know, not being a good friend to them. And I told myself, you know, that's not true. Get over it. Like, it's not that big of a deal. Parenting self, ignore it. See, this is it. And so I was like, yeah, you're right. Okay, whatever. That's dumb. I'm being dumb. Well, I was stretching later that day and I started to feel really anxious. And I was like, what is this? And that friend popped into my mind, and I remembered, oh my God, are you telling me that I stored that? So this is a lesson that I learned, where you really can't get rid of those anxieties. The best way is to acknowledge it. If we try to stuff it down, it's still there, and it's going to hold on into your body, and it's going to get stuck there, and you might hold it for years. And then 10 years later, you're going to be stretching and you're going to be like, oh my God, I didn't text whoever back. And I didn't text Lisa back. Oh my gosh, 10 years ago. What am I going to do? And then you release it. So it's better to just keep the maintenance going than it is to have it stored there for a long time. Journaling about our feelings and then talking out loud about our feelings is really important too. I find that sometimes I have a difficult time understanding what I'm feeling, because it's not like feelings come in one word. Like, when you have a feeling, you're like, this is happy. I feel happy, happiness. It's usually a mix of a bunch of things. I think that's a common misconception, is that from the way that I was brought up to understand feelings, they seemed a lot more simple. And as I grow more in my understanding of myself, emotions are very multifaceted. There's so many that occur at the same time. So it's important to speak about these, because you might feel happy about something and at the same time be scared about it too. Let's say that you have a new relationship coming into your life. You could feel frightened, you know, that you could be hurt, but you feel ecstatic with energy as well. It's important to acknowledge both of those emotions. Don't just acknowledge the fear or just acknowledge the happiness, because you're actually discrediting the experience. Every experience in life is filled with darkness and light, both. And it's there that we find the beauty, that when we can see this duality that exists in everything all around us. It's really beautiful. And that's also how we develop our understanding of others. And we develop not as much of a black and white association of right and wrong, just how I have a big issue with our justice system. I just find it's just so painful to me to think about people committing, an offense and then having their lives taken away from them and being put into a box, because it doesn't really serve anyone. They're not rehabilitating. I think that when somebody does something wrong, I'm not saying it's a good thing, but I do think that there should be more effort into rehabilitating and to showing this person what the potential is for their life. Let's say and just understanding, going back to the root, like, where did this go wrong? Where would you like to go? And a lot of times people have been through a lot of trauma, and that's why they end up in like hard, very difficult places. And that's not a time that somebody should be punished. That's a time where someone should be coached and helped. So sorry about that lighting. I'm having some trouble here. But anyways, I'm off my soapbox about the United States justice system. I think it's very important. I don't think that enough thought is put into emotions, and I do this myself as well. Really just talking out loud about your emotions can get out some things that you really didn't even know that you were feeling. It's a good practice to maybe just turn on some music doesn't have any words in it, and let those things out. Start talking to yourself in the mirror. How do I feel? You know what? Well, I'm promoting talking to yourself. I'm doing it. It sounds crazy, but talk to yourself, talk to your guides, and just be your own best friend. It feels good. And then people are going to feel better around you too, because you know yourself so well. Speak your feelings to connect and understand them. Where do they live in your body? That's another thing. Make sure that you're doing self-love. And yeah, again, this duality of this is right and this is wrong. When we can understand the depth of emotion, we can understand more that no person does something fully with bad intentions. A lot of people do something and they think they have good intentions, but they just misunderstand that what the effect of what they were doing was bad. Some people do things just for the purpose of being bad, but I'm of the belief that in every person there's good. In every single person there is good. And if we nurture that, we feed it, we give it love, and we do that by seeing in everyone both energies. So if we're being triggered by somebody, of course, they're mirrors of ourselves. Asking ourselves those questions, what is upsetting me about this person's behavior? When have I exhibited that behavior? And why did I do it? When we can kind of relate it back to our lives, we get a deeper understanding of, oh, I've done that. So, and I don't think I'm a bad person. And if we do, we can forgive ourselves right then and there. And we can say, I actually am a good person. I understand why I did that. And when we can see where that person's coming from, empathy is the best thing in the world. When we can see where that person's coming from, we can really forgive. We can really grow. We can really connect. And that's everything that I love. My favorite thing to visualize is just people understanding each other and coming together and really, really, truly and unapologetically loving. And, that might take a lot of time, but hey, we're getting there step by step. And the more we love ourselves, the more we're able to love other people. And all of you should love yourself so much. So make yourself a priority is one of the things that I really, really wanted to emphasize today. Making sure that you schedule time for yourself. You schedule time for your friends, you schedule time for work, you schedule time to take care of your children, you schedule time to take care of everyone around you. So why should it be different with yourself? And what excuses do you make when you want to schedule time for yourself? I know that I've been really bad about this, and this is a lesson that I've been learning very, very much recently, is about creating those healthy boundaries and not feeling bad about saying, I can't go to this thing tonight because I scheduled a bath for myself. And that's okay. I actually need it. It is. It's very important. It feels weird, but it's going to give you the life that you want. It's going to give all of us the lives that we want and the connections that we want too. Once we establish a morning routine too, we can go about the day in our power. I wrote so much. I was just having like all these downloads, and I was like, I was almost like not even looking. As I was writing on the page. I did want to talk about, also in the day, I found this to be very helpful, is to center myself in an energy of wanting to understand instead of wanting to react. I think that we can get trained to have a reaction when people are saying things. It's almost like we feel we must defend or we must be these bringers of good, and that it requires an action, when really what it requires is kind of like a place of stillness. When we're still, we allow things to happen outside of us and we don't take on that energy. When we react, we're interacting with that energy. We're actually drawing it in. We're exchanging with this person that's causing us to have a reaction, if we stay still in our power, we can observe and we can ask questions about, but we still protect our boundaries and protect our energy. This is especially important when working with anyone that might have different opinions, or when speaking to people. I know we see like the online comment section of a lot of places is like a really tragic place. But if we all approach things from a more observational standpoint, things would be better. And hey, we're all not perfect. I'm not perfect. Again, all of this stuff that I'm saying is just information that I've received that I want to share with the world, because we all want to try to be better. And these are some tools and some tips that are helpful. But of course, I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm not saying any of us are perfect, because that's not true. And that wouldn't be fun to live here if we weren't. It's almost like a game. We're all leveling up. It's a little bit difficult. There's hard times, but we get there in the end. And this world is made for us to live in abundance and made for us to be happy. This is just getting rid of those blocks that we might have created for ourselves. We might run into feeling too tired. So just make sure that we're making time. Again, having schedules. And the last thing I wanted to say is making a goal. What do you want from life? Think about it very broadly. This is exciting. It's like, remember when we were children and it would be like, ooh, when I grow up, I'm going to climb a mountain. I'm going to go to Disney World. And you had all these great ideas. At some point, I feel like that kind of goes away and we start to think of things in a very limited perspective. Like, this is all I'm allowed to have. I can dream for this, but I can't dream beyond that. And it's really sad. And that's what takes away the fun in life. Allow yourself to dream as big as you want, to create goals for yourself that you're afraid of and that you don't know if you can achieve. As soon as you can just set that goal, you're already moving into that energy. You're already getting aligned with that timeline. And you can take little bits of it day by day, but just having that goal there, you'll feel the energy of yourself. You'll feel inspired. Just having the goal, not even acting on it, just having it will lift you up. So I highly encourage some reflection and thinking about what would be so exciting for me that it's kind of scary. I'm trying to create some goals like that too. And I have some really big ones, and they're for the channel. They're for my Instagram. So I'm so excited. And I'm going to be sharing them later on. But for right now, just keeping it. The last thing I did want to say is that astrology is extremely helpful with identifying where the energies are coming from, especially if you're in your divine feminine power. The cycles of the moon have a huge effect on us, and knowing where the planets are can help you to understand, is this energy coming from outside or is this energy coming from me? When we see that there's a lot of planets in conflict with our natal chart on a certain day, we might be able to say, okay, so I shouldn't, instead of getting this negative feeling going, what am I mad about? What am I mad about? Oh my gosh, my husband said the rudest thing the other day, and now I'm mad at him, and I'm going to be mad at him all day long because the energies are supporting it. And it's him. Instead of doing that, we can actually see, okay, today I'm going to tend to be a little bit more angry. So I'm going to watch that. And when somebody starts to trigger you, you're like, all right, I'm not the one today. Today is not the day. I'm going to just step back from that, maybe not engage. Doing things like that, it just helps you identify where this is coming from. Helps you feel a little bit more sane, because especially the people that I've come into contact with are all very sensitive. Yes. And yeah, understanding the planetary energies is just really helpful. Well, that's all I had for today, guys. I am going to be posting the daily reading tomorrow, and I hope to do more of these and I was looking at maybe creating some webinars where we can talk about generational trauma is one that I really want to do, but it's going to be a big topic. So I'm trying to break it down into some digestible chunks so that we can break through it. That's coming up so much right now, and I'm seeing it and I'm feeling it. So I definitely want to have some support available. I really love all of you, and be sure to like, subscribe, all the things, and follow me on Instagram. Yeah, you too. Follow me on Instagram for more updates and daily readings. And you can check out my website if you'd like to have a personal reading. I do tarot, and I've actually just added some new items to the website. So now there is energy donations where you can donate if you feel like it. That goes towards supporting purchasing of more oracle decks for myself, tarot decks, and candles especially. I go through a lot of candles with Spiritual Insights. I light a candle for every reading and throughout the day to channel spirit in my meditation. There's also a custom charm. So I create charms working with the moon cycles. When there is a full moon, it's a great time to work with releasing, or you can also do abundance. And the new moon is a great time for manifestation. So if you'd like to have a charm made for you with your intentions with the moon, I'm happy to do so. I do have plenty of herbs, crystals, and ingredients, and then it will come in a small glass jar similar to this. So here's one that I created under the Capricorn full moon. And all of these crystals have moon energy. There's a little bit of moon water in there and different herbs and crystals that are associated with the intention that I placed into that. So these are great to keep around your desk at work if you're trying to draw prosperity, or to keep in your pocket or in your purse if it's something that's very personal to you. Disclaimer though, I don't work with third-party energies, so I can't make a charm to make somebody do something. This is purely for you and for yourself. If you're trying to manifest more self-love, it's all for things that you want in your own life. But yeah, it's been a pleasure, and I will see all of you again soon. This is Caitlin with Spiritual Insights. Love and light to all of you.